Hello, and welcome to the Agentforce and Data Cloud Unlocking Growth Through Agentic Solutions session. My name is Faith Hewson. I'm an industry architect and an AI practice lead here at Gerent, a TELUS digital company. Today, we're going to be talking about Agentforce and Data Cloud. We're going to be reviewing the power of agentic solutions, Data Cloud, the solution that fuels them. We'll dive into some relevant use cases, see a demo of those use cases, talk about how to scale across your enterprise, and wrap up with a few key takeaways. In today's session, we're going to explore how Salesforce AI, through Agentforce and Data Cloud, are helping businesses grow, meet KPIs, and build trusted agentic solutions. If we look at some of the metrics surrounding our sales and service teams, focusing first on sellers, we know that sellers only spend about 30% of their time during an average work week on selling tasks. This figure comes from the State of the Sales report released, most recent State of the Sales report released by Salesforce. This figure is relatively unchanged from the 2022 State of the Sales report, where it was reported at 28% of their time selling. This means that our sellers spend an enormous amount of their time on manual tasks. We know they spend time on organizing tasks, prioritizing their leads, organizing their day, and entering data into systems. While we know that we can't fully automate all aspects of the seller's job, they need time to plan their day, they need time to train, they need time for coaching experiences. We do know that there's a huge opportunity to free sellers of their time selling during their work week. On the other side, we're looking at service statistics. We know that the majority of service professionals all agree that customer expectations are now higher than ever. We also know that our service reps only are able to spend about 46% of their time in relationship building activities. This is in large part due to administrative tasks and people having other internal responsibilities that take them away from nurturing customer relationships. We also know that there's a huge negative impact to spend the lack of spending time building those customer relationships. 43% of consumers say that service experiences that are poor will prevent them from making a repeat purchase with a company. Whether we're looking to increase customer satisfaction or free up sales reps from manual repetitive tasks, AI is no longer experimental. It's embedded in our daily workflows, and Salesforce is leading with trusted, responsible AI that's not just predictive, it's agentic, which means it's able to act. If we look at where we have been to where we are today, we can see in this slide that we started with chatbots. Chatbots being very configuration heavy, very deterministic. You had to map out all of the possible paths that you wanted to serve in a chatbot, then map all of those possible outcomes, creating possibly a frustrating experience because any conversation or any question or any prompt that fell outside of what the chatbot designed to do left a customer empty-handed. We then moved into copilots. These copilots were smarter assistants and could handle a broader variety of tasks, but still were configuration heavy. Now we're in the age of Agentforce. Agentforce, being agentic functionality, knows your business. It can plan and it can reason on its own. It has the ability to take action, and it's a scalable solution with minimum effort in order to serve multiple business units across your organization. Now, I won't read this slide entirely. It's word salad. However, I will leave you with one key point, and it's the emphasis on how we're leveraging this functionality and what sets it apart from its predecessors. Autonomous agents can not only reason based on predictions it can make from your data, but also has the ability to perceive its environment and take autonomous actions and then learn from the feedback it receives and adapt. This makes this functionality a cut above all of the other options that we've seen so far. And of course, even the most capable agent can only be as good as the information it works with. And that's where the true power of Salesforce shines, because behind every intelligent action is trusted, unified data. So let's take a look at how Data Cloud fuels these agents to act with context and confidence. When your agents act, They need context, and that context comes from Data Cloud. Unifying signals into a single view so that every decision is data-driven. So here you can see a diagram where we have a unified customer profile in the center, pulling in data from external systems like SAP, other data lakes like Snowflake. We also have unstructured data. Maybe this is note data, PDF documentation. Maybe we also have usage and engagement data from marketing or other systems. And then, of course, we have the ability to access all of the data from the CRM platform, pulling it all into a single view. Data Cloud breaks down silos by unifying all of the data. Data Cloud then enhances Agentforce by grounding agents in your proprietary data and enabling automation, data-triggered workflows, advanced analytics, and AI-powered applications in order to create this view of consolidated data, grounding your agent and setting it up for success. Here, this diagram just further emphasizes the point that we can unify data across a myriad of sources. Now we have direct connectors that make accessing external systems easier than ever, systems like Snowflake or SharePoint. We also have the ability to integrate other systems that don't have connectors. Of course, we can open up API connections, we can integrate through MuleSoft, and of course, anything that exists in your CRM org can also be ingested inside Data Cloud and used as well. When agents act, they act on trusted and connected data. An example of this would be a service agent resolving a case by pulling customer 360 data, which could include purchase history, service history, as well as knowledge articles, either as knowledge articles in the system or unstructured files like PDFs that might store product data or warranty data or policy data for a particular customer into an experience, allowing the service agent to have a full view of all customer data in order to assist them and resolve their issues. Let's take a look at some of the use cases that we've identified. Now, these use cases are meant to be industry agnostic to give you an understanding that there are service and sales use cases across a myriad of industries. These use cases are attainable through one of the Agentforce templates that's available, whether it's a service agent or it's a sales coach agent. We're going to first talk about our customer support resolution agent. When you're planning your use cases, the first place you want to start is where you have a business problem to address. So in this instance, the business problem we're looking to address is that customers often wait too long for answers. Agents spend time searching through knowledge bases, histories, and systems, and it just takes too long. Now, the benefit of this agent would be to reduce costs and increase customer satisfaction. It's going to be able to receive a support request, instantly pull unified customer profile information, suggest personalized resolution steps, provide real-time guidance to agents or deflect simple cases automatically, as well as answer questions with knowledge. Now, we also have our sales management agent. Now, this is the revenue growth sales accelerator agent. And the business problem we're trying to address here is that sales teams miss opportunities because often the information is spread across systems. Reps don't know which action drives the most impact, and they just do not have a holistic view over their pipeline to be able to know where to tackle things at the right time to have the best impact. This agent is going to be able to review the unified account profile, provide personalized feedback to help reps communicate more clearly, improve their understanding and engage with customers effectively, provide next best action support, as well as help manage their sales pipeline by making suggestions on and even helping update opportunities. So we're going to jump into the environment where we have our demo, and we're going to take a look first at our customer service agent, and then we're going to jump into the sales coach. All right, so what we have here is a customer logged into a portal. This portal is based on a Salesforce Experience Cloud site. They have the ability to self-serve here, look up account information here, and also access the Agentforce agent. So here I'll go ahead and I'll open the agent. When we click on the agent, we are also going to see that our agent loads with our branding, and we'll have a welcome message. Now, from here, we want to illustrate that there are several ways that we can offer support to our customers before we get to the point where we need to involve a human. The first way that we do that is answering questions with knowledge. Whether your knowledge base is your website, knowledge articles in Salesforce, PDF documents loaded into Data Cloud, there are a myriad of sources that we can leverage in order to answer questions with knowledge. Now, that information can be presented at fingertips to your customers. All they have to do is ask a question. Now, of course, I'm doing a positive test here. I know that I'm going to get a positive response back, but the agent is also suited to handle questions that are off topic. So it's intelligent enough to learn from the natural language conversation within this window and then take the appropriate action. So here you can see it's returned a result that it supports these browsers. Now you can also support product information, policy information. You can even upload documentation on how to use this agent or use this portal, allowing the opportunity for you to give shortcuts to your customers on training their end users on how to use the tools provided by your company to them. We'll do one more. So here is that agent response I was mentioning where I'm asking a question it doesn't have context to. So here it's saying, would you like me to escalate this issue to a live agent for further assistance? Instead, I'm going to ask to create a case. I don't have time to sit and chat with somebody today. I was looking for a quick answer. I'd like somebody to follow up on this issue and get back to me. Now, here we can provide a couple of options in terms of verifying specific customers. Now, this customer does not allow all of their team to create cases. It is limited within a certain permission. You can have a verification step here. You can have a fully authenticated experience because this is a portal. We can automatically get who this is for context, but in this instance, we do ask for the email address so we can verify the contact, validate that they are able to create the case, and then link them to the case that gets created. There are a lot of different options here in how you want to vet the person requesting to create a case. There's also different paths, whether this is directly on an external site versus an internal site that might be authenticated. So a lot of different options available in the configuration. All right, so here we can see that the case has been created. I can ask for the case details. I want the case number in the event that I can follow up with this later. Great. So here I have the case information. Some other things that we can do. I can add a case comment. Letting them know that my preferred method of contact for this case is email. And here it's confirming that it has added a comment to my case. Now, a few other things that we can do. We can look up information, add information. We can also manage our specific account. So if I need a password reset, we can then trigger an automation in the back end that will go out and reset a password. Maybe I'm resetting it for me. Maybe I'm resetting it for someone on my team. but an email can be triggered. That user can then reset their password via that password reset link and go through the authentication and reset password process to gain access to the portal again. Maybe I want to see a list of all my cases so I can know what the status of each of those cases is. Maybe I want to follow up and add a comment to one particular case, but I can't remember what the case number was. Here, I can request that information. It will then go out, compile a list, and then return the list inside the agent conversation for me to review. Excellent. So now the last element of our demonstration is it's important to always provide a path to an actual human in your agent conversation. It's one of the things that makes an Agentforce implementation successful is that always have the ability to escalate. Now, some people choose to escalate in the form of a case. Others have SMS, WhatsApp, or chat within their company, and they have teams staffed to handle those conversations. There's a variety of ways that we can transfer the conversation to a human. Now I'm going to log into Live Agent on another window. That's just work. That's work that I have in my queue, that I haven't addressed, whether it's case information or it's a conversation. But now I'm going to request to speak to a live agent. All right, so that tone that you heard, and as you can see on the screen here, is the agent transferring the conversation to a live agent. From here, because I don't have split screen, I'll just type a message over here. And now we have a live conversation between the agent and the customer service rep. Now the customer service rep will see the entire conversation so that the context of the conversation is carried over, allowing the customer to not have to repeat themselves, not have to reiterate what they need unless it's something new, or the agent is confused about which topic they might be interested in addressing. Because we did jump around and we did have a bunch of different actions here and a bunch of different questions. Context might be a little difficult to divine from the conversation. However, we're at least providing that. So if somebody does have an experience where they're frustrated or they've asked a specific question and not received an answer, the internal agent who's picking up the conversation from the agent now has the context and then can create a positive customer service and transfer experience between the agent and the customer service rep now in the chat conversation. So that concludes our service demo. We're now going to move over to the sales agent and the sales functionality. So now this is from an internal perspective, whereas that customer service agent was one of our customers accessing our experience site and interacting with an agent. Now from the sales perspective, these solutions are represented just a little bit different. One thing that we want to do is we want to limit the on-demand nature of requests. Sales reps move quickly. They want everything on demand, at a glance. And while we need to make sure that when we're looking at a solution, we balance that so that we're taking into consideration consumption of credits or conversations, we want to make sure that we choose the right solution. But I'm going to present one possible option to you here. So the first that we have here is we're on an account screen. We're on Omega Inc., which is one of our customers, and we can see this account summary. Now, I've just named it AI-generated account summary to make it obvious about what it is. However, this can be named different things. This is a component that's developed and is associated with some backend automation that will go out and get, based on your requirements, a 360-degree profile of your customer and surface the information that's relevant to the user viewing the component at the time. This component can also be customizable. So if you need a sales rep to see one thing and you need a customer service agent to see another, you can configure it that way and set up your responses to show the information based off of who is looking at the screen at the time. Now, as you can see here, we have service contract up for renewal information, a key milestone that we want to tune into and, be positive and forward thinking about it and have conversations about it. As a salesperson, I'm very interested in what my open pipeline amount is with this customer. As a salesperson, I'm also interested if we have work orders or cases open. If I'm calling to renew or offer an extended warranty for this small turbine, are they having issues with it? Is it close to end of life? Maybe we need to upgrade them, change the asset that they have out in the field. So all of this information can be useful and then can drive you to different areas of the customer screen in order to get additional information to be prepared for that next step. I'm going to look at one particular opportunity here. All right. So here we have a sales opportunity. One thing that you'll notice is we have this Agentforce sales coach window that pops up here. If I click start, which will pop that up, here you can see that we can configure a sales coach to do a myriad of things. One of the huge benefits of the Agentforce sales coach is that we can free up sales managers from coaching on a day-to-day basis and make coaching available to reps on demand, making it more likely that they'll engage in coaching sessions or practice sessions if they can get access to it when it's convenient for them. They can present their knowledge, so they can run through what they know about the qualification of the opportunity and get feedback on how to better describe the sales deal. They can also practice their pitch, so they can get real-time feedback on their pitch so that they can tailor it to perfection. We can also help them sharpen their negotiation skills. So practicing, negotiating, having the agent throw out roadblocks, this is a really great way for sales reps to sharpen their skills. And then, of course, we can role play. Now, Sales Coach comes with some out-of-the-box prompts. However, each of these can be configured to your specific business and industry needs. What we're going to see next is just an audio clip of some of these features, and it's a pre-recorded video so that you don't have to listen to me drone on. And if you'll give me a moment, I'll pull that up for us to watch. All right, here we are going to watch Sales Rep Faith practice her pitch.
Thanks for taking the time today. At its core, what we're offering isn't just a product. It's a way to help your team work smarter and move faster. Right now, your operations rely on multiple disconnected systems that slow down decisions and make it hard to see the full picture. Our solution brings everything together, giving your teams real-time visibility, automated workflows, and clear insights to act on. That means less time chasing data and more time driving results. With an investment of about $127,000, you'll be setting up a foundation that pays for itself quickly through efficiency gains, cost savings, and better customer experience. This isn't just about technology. It's about giving your people the tools to deliver faster, smarter, and more confidently than ever.
Great. So our sales rep has practiced their pitch. They've reviewed what they know. And then at the end, our agent is going to analyze the conversation. It's going to give a summary. It's going to provide feedback. It'll point out anything that needs attention. And then it'll provide recommendations on next steps. So this feedback can then be copied. You can then practice, review the prior feedback against the new feedback, and continue to fine-tune your pitch over time. Next, we're going to see an example of sharpening our negotiation skills. Now, you'll have to forgive me. This was pre-recorded. I'm not a salesperson, and I know it sounds pretty flat, so I apologize ahead of time, but just try to keep in mind that the content is there and look at what the agent's responses are and how the agent's responses keep me on my toes and force me to pivot. And I will emphasize that every time I ran through this exercise in order to prepare for this demo, the agent would throw out different roadblocks. And so I never knew what I was going to get in each time that I was sharpening my negotiation skills.
Hello, I am glad we could connect today and I am ready to discuss this deal.
Hello, Mr. Bailey. Thank you for taking your time to discuss the proposal that we sent over. The proposal is for $127,000, which comes in below your ceiling budget. This also includes the 9-month service contract for Tier 1 support post-go live. This amount covers all implementation and solution costs discussed.
Thank you for the breakdown. While I appreciate the proposal being under budget, I'd like to discuss a few points. 9 months of Tier 1 support is helpful, but I was hoping for a full year. Additionally, is there any flexibility on the $127,000 price? A slight reduction would make this more appealing to my team.
I completely understand where you're coming from. You're being thoughtful about maximizing your investment, and that's exactly how we want our partners to think. The good news is that we've already scoped the solution under your projected budget. It includes the full implementation and success framework needed to deliver measurable ROI within the first quarter. With that being said, I want to make sure you feel confident about the value you're getting. So instead of applying a discount, I'd like to offer something that directly supports your outcomes. We can include a complimentary post-launch optimization review with our success team. This ensures that you're not just going live, but you're truly hitting your efficiency targets and seeing the gains we've modeled. In addition, we can extend your support to a full 12 months at no additional cost. This way, you're getting more value without cutting into the scope or the long-term impact of the solution.
I appreciate the offer to extend support to 12 months and include the post-launch optimization review. That's a step in the right direction. However, I still feel the price could be adjusted slightly to reflect the additional value we're bringing to the table. Could we explore a reduction to $120,000 while keeping the added benefits? That would make this a more balanced agreement for us.
Now, I'll pause there. As you can see, as the agent or the sales rep goes through and negotiates based off of what with the information they've given the agent in the prior transcript, the agent is then going to customize its response in terms of how to throw up roadblocks, throw up asks to challenge them to move through negotiating and overcoming those objections. It's a great tool to empower your sales teams. It's a great way to free up sales managers from sitting down and having to spread their very valuable time across a myriad of resources. We know that there is a challenge of being able to dedicate the time each rep needs. And if we can offload some of that to sales coach, and again, provide that on demand to the sales rep at a time that's convenient for them, then we have a real opportunity for success in terms of polishing our sales deals and seeing that they're successful. Now, outside of Account 360 data, outside of next best action information that we can present, and outside of the sales coach, we also have an agent solution. Now, the agent solution that we have available is called the Sales Management Agent. All right, so our Sales Management Agent can do a myriad of things, and you can configure this agent very specifically to your business requirements. You can create custom topics and actions to serve your business. I'll just demonstrate some of the basic actions that you can take that support sales reps in their work. So starting at the account, we can ask the agent to summarize a specific account. Now you can use the summarize functionality across any record or any set of records that you want to pull information on. So here it's pulling a summary, and of course, we can determine what the summary includes. Here, the agent is making an assumption that we want a summary of all of the related information, the open information associated with this client. Outside of just summarizing information, we can also update information. For those of you who click around in a system, what we find is that oftentimes communicating in natural language to place a request is faster than going in and clicking through the system and then typing out what you need to update. Now, there are times where the reverse is true. It's faster just to click in and maybe select a pick list value. However, we do find that a lot of times when we're asking for updates on things or the creation of records, it's a lot easier just to type it in natural language. And I understand that I'm cheating by copy and pasting in from a script. However, even just typing it out, it's a lot faster than clicking around. Or if you're a new rep, remembering your training on where to go to access certain information and then complete this task. So here's an example where I want to log a call for Omega Inc. Great. So once we move over to the opportunity, you can, in essence, perform the exact same actions. We can summarize this opportunity. So let's do that. Let's see what the summarizing of this record looks like. All right, so great. Here we can see the summarized deal, the dates. We can see that we have some contact references, some potential risks, as well as the next steps that we need to take. All of this is pulled from the opportunity record. Now, moving past just summarizing what we can see, we can also leverage sales management to give us suggestive information. It can be fed notes, call summaries, transcripts from video calls. It can go out and look at other sales opportunities of this type and make recommendations on where the agentic functionality thinks we should be based off of this information. Now, I'm going to put a question in here. You'll see I'm using an ID. That's because I have a break somewhere that I discovered just prior to the call and have not had a chance to debug it. As I mentioned earlier, of course, in demo fashion, it works up until you need to present. So here we have a prompt-based action. This prompt is going out and it's pulling data from Data Cloud. It's pulling data from our CRM. It's pulling in notes. It's pulling in call summaries in order to make some assumptions. So it's summarizing the opportunity. It's talking about why this is the right move right now, summarizing where we are in the sales deal, the positive indicators and the buying signals that we've received. It then is talking about next steps. So it's telling us, based off of the information, we want to suggest that maybe we do a 60 to a 90-minute joint sessions with their operations, IT, and finance leadership, We have a lot of decision makers and a lot of layers of decision makers. So getting everybody aligned on a call, we have a better chance of closing this deal on time versus allowing them internally to try to figure it out. Maybe some pre-read deck suggestions. So it's just suggesting some things I should come prepared with. It's also giving me some strategic messaging, so I don't necessarily need to read this out, but the sentiment can be tailored to my own tone and my own voice as long as we get the point across. It's then outlining, if we perform all of these steps and these suggestions outlined above, what the expected outcome should be. Now, having all of the assumed next best actions is great, but one thing that we also want to make sure that we're aware of is whether or not the agent sees any risks associated with this opportunity. Before we go into a strategic call with our client where we're going to be asking them for a deal close to move the needle, we should be aware of what the possible issues are out there so that we can be prepared to address them. So here, when we ask for risks, we see that we have our agent go out, again, pulling in all that information across a myriad of sources. We might have stakeholder misalignment, providing context, the impact, and how to mitigate this potential risk. We have budget reallocation risk. We have procurement cycle delays. All of these coming with context, the impact of the risk, and mitigation, giving us possible solutions on how to fix this problem before it actually becomes one. But let's take a look at another activity. One thing that also weighs down our sales reps is the drafting of emails, kind of coming up with the topics, making sure that we've structured the email well, that it's written well. Well, what if our agent could take that task from us, freeing us up to do higher value tasks than just drafting an email? Great. So here you can see that there's been an email drafted. Now I can send this directly. I can also copy it, paste it into my email editor, and then clean it up, change the tone. I can even ask for the agent to refine this further to be closer to what I'm looking for in terms of results or content. So here you can see very quickly an email was drafted. It looks good. It checks all the boxes. I could just send this directly as long as my email account is connected to my Salesforce environment, and it would fire that email off directly to the customer and then link that email to this record. We can also have the system aggregate data as well. So if we want to show all opportunities, actually, we want to see all opportunities, the total amount of opportunities for a specific company. Now, what if I wanted to see all opportunities in the proposal stage? Maybe I want to spend a day following up on all proposals that are out in the field. I can pull all those opportunities up and I can work directly from that list. Now I could copy this list down. I could just click on each of these. It's going to open that record in a new tab. I can work it, close that tab, and move on to the next item. Now, sky is really the limit. What you want to focus on here are those actions that will alleviate manual work from your sales team. Knowing that in the statistic I shared earlier, only about 30% of their time is done on selling. If we can automate emails, if we can automate their, the questions, what policy information, what policy coverage does this person have? What warranties are set to expire? When does their contract expire? If we can make that information available at their fingertips, whether it's in this form where we're putting the relevant information directly on a screen for them to access, or giving it to them on demand through an agent experience like this, generally a blended experience is best so that you can cover a wider variety of topics and actions and give your sales reps the ability to offload those manual tasks that are a lot of clicks that bog down their day for higher value work, like actually selling and contributing to revenue. All right, so that concludes our demo. Apologies that it wasn't perfect. Of course, it always works prior to a demonstration like this and then stops working the minute that you want to showcase it. Let's jump back into our presentation. So we talked about our demos, we talked about some use cases. Next, let's talk about how we can take these use cases, take these tools, take something like Agentforce and Data Cloud, and then scale it across your enterprise. So what we're seeing here is a representation of the fact that an agent and agentic functionality are not just relegated to sales and support teams. We want to be able to take agentic solutions and come up with ways that we can leverage the functionality to impact all departments across an entire organization, whether that's lead scoring, so nurturing the leads so that we have more intelligent marketing opportunities and that we're taking the burden of scoring leads and nurturing leads off the plate of your sales team, allowing them to focus on higher value or better qualified things up front. Personalized and proactive service, as we saw within the service agent, giving people the power to get the answers they need when they need them without having to call in and talk to a person, wait on an email, wait on a case, things of that nature. Smarter, personalized marketing journeys. So allowing the agentic functionality to take into consideration things like what websites they've visited, what products they have, pulling in information across all sources of our data to feed the marketing journey to make more intelligent marketing choices that are personalized to customers, creating a better relationship and a better chance that those marketing journeys are going to be successful. We also have the ability to support on things like Slack or across paid advertising or social media. All of those things are places that we can engage agentic functionality to support that aspect of your enterprise. And then kind of capping everything together, we definitely want to make sure that we have access to analytics and dashboards to be able to see how successful our agents are, where we're consuming across our agents, to allow us to have a more strategic approach on where we invest our time, where we need to tweak things, and how successful our implementation of Agentforce and Data Cloud has been. So now we've talked a lot about scaling, we've talked a lot about the use cases, but what you really want to focus on as you look at how you want to implement AI solutions is the value. Of course, every person who's going to be implementing Agentforce solution is going to talk about ROI. So where do we find value when we're talking about improving a customer experience with AI solutions? We're talking about improved consistency and accuracy. You know, if you could standardize your customer service experience and make sure that everybody has the same experience across all communication channels, you provide consistency. That consistency provides comfort. That then leads to the last one on the list, which is higher customer satisfaction scores. You also have personalized interactions. Allowing the agent to derive context from conversation allows the agent to provide a personalized experience. It can draw context for those conversations from your data specifically for that customer, giving the agent the ability to be grounded and derive context from data that's sitting before this in all these siloed systems that are not communicating. So pulling that all together and being able to provide a personalized experience. In addition, faster always on support. An agent can be on your website 24/7, even over holidays, allowing customers to have access to support when they need it most, any time of day. Jumping over to employee productivity, implementing agentic solutions, we help provide real-time knowledge. So whether you're a new or a seasoned employee, being able to know that you can go to a single place to get answers to your questions, get suggestions on solutions, how to fix things is huge. It's also going to create smarter decision support. If we give them the knowledge real time, we give them the information real time, they'll have the tools they need and the data they need to make key decisions. Seamless workflow automation by allowing them to take advantage of things like we saw in the demo of automating tasks or automating emails. We're creating the ability for the system to take on that burden of workflow. We can also trigger actions and automate actions that are not agentic through an agent in the background. So let's say we want to generate a quote. We can tell an agent to generate a quote. We kick off a flow in the background that'll create that record, create that document all automatically without necessarily having to leverage the agent to do that. We can seamlessly build in workflow automation, creating a dual approach of using both agentic functionality and standard Salesforce automation tools. All of this will lead to a huge productivity lift. So both in the sales and the service statistics we saw earlier, time was of the essence. We're now freeing our sales reps up to sell more than 30% of their time during the week, and we're freeing our customer service agents up to spend more time than 46% of their week developing customer relationships, which is going to drive business and revenue on both sides. Overall, your entire business will see growth. We're going to look for things like customer retention and increased lifetime value. We're going to derive new insights into possible revenue opportunities or new revenue models. We're going to create efficiencies and reduce operational costs, taking away the cost burden of somebody digging through knowledge articles, allowing them to spend time, again, on higher value activities. Here's just a couple of examples of some agents. Now, this is not even scratching the surface on options, but we did talk about an employee agent, the sales management agent. We saw sales coach. We saw service agent. We didn't see SDR. So this is a sales rep that can, nurture your leads with personal content and kind of take care of that lead nurturing piece, answering common questions, interacting through email, and scheduling meetings. So these are just some basic ones that we encourage everyone to look at. If you're not sure what your use case is and you want to dip into Agentforce, you can look at some of these tailored templates, start there, and then build past that. When you're looking at scaling across your enterprise, obviously, you want to be able to bring in your data. So data being the key component. We want to unify your applications. We want to be able to connect everything that your agent can leverage, because that's what really makes it powerful, is if your organization is connected, operating from the same data source. It's what really makes these products powerful and can lead to better customer service and employee experiences. Now, we've put some statistics in here. All of these statistics are sourced from Salesforce. They emphasize more of the point from the previous slides. I'll just touch on a couple here where we have the cost and time savings reported by AI users. So 76% of customer inquiries resolved without a human, requiring only 5% of those to be escalated to, or 5% to be escalated to a human agent. Now, that's 76% of cases or inquiries deflected, creating a huge amount of time savings for your teams who would have otherwise handled those customer inquiries. Here on CSAT and service quality improvement, the second one on the top, a 52% increase in self-service customer satisfaction after deploying an AI-powered service agent. The next one across the top, support chats closed 80% faster. So being able to close those faster, address questions faster, and get people what they need faster benefits the organization across the top. Down on the bottom, we can look at statistics from Wyndham on revenue per agent, from Crexi on productivity, and Salesforce, of course, being a huge user of Salesforce and a wealth of knowledge, seeing revenue growth after using AI. Now, of course, Agentforce has doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on Agentforce. These are just some statistics that they've shared internally about the benefits they're seeing by implementing Agentforce across their own organization as well. As we kind of wrap up, we've thrown a lot at you. I want to just leave you with a few key things. The first is, remember that AI is agentic. It doesn't predict, it just acts, meaning it can respond to your environment, it can learn your business, it can learn your tone, and it can take on responsibility of taking the feedback and then adapting itself to your needs. Agentforce and Data Cloud, it's a trusted, scalable platform, and it's a recipe for success. Agents drive real business outcomes. As we've seen throughout the course of the presentation, there are real measurable KPIs like higher customer satisfaction scores, increased revenue, and lower cost. All of these things obviously being very important to anyone who's running a business. But what's very important is that we are able to articulate the metric we want to measure against and being able to show the result of that once we implement the agentic solution. One thing I just want to leave you with is where to start. So as you look at taking on either your first step into Agentforce and Data Cloud, or maybe you've already dipped in and you're looking at where to go, we're here to help you address those questions. But the best advice that I can give you to start is come up with one use case. Go out to your teams who have the largest burden of manual work. Ask them what they're spending time doing, what are the repetitive tasks that they see every day, and use that as a template to identify the biggest opportunity for time savings or cost savings if you were to automate that solution, or if you were to provide an agentic option to address those. Start there. That's your first use case. Tackle that use case and then focus on growing your use case across other issues that you see presented. We're available to have a conversation with you. We're available to provide insights and even do an AI roadmap or an AI preparedness session with you. So I just want to thank you all for your time. I want to thank you for your patience as I was switching between screens, and I wish you all the best of luck on your agent journey.